From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hello, welcome to Around Foxborough. I'm Sophia Manos. I'm filling in as host today. And with me today is another candidate running for office in this upcoming November election, September being the primary and November being the general. And we're here with Tamisha Civil. She's running for District 2's Governor's Council.
Yes.
I said that right, I hope. Now, the Governor's Council, for those who do not know, covers, welcome, first of all.
Yes,
I just want to excitedly get into all the places, all the things that this role covers. As you know, we're in Bristol and Norfolk here. Mm-hmm. It also covers Middlesex and Norfolk, Plymouth and Norfolk, second Plymouth and Bristol, so many other counties,
right.
So many counties. So what you're going for is covering a lot of ground here
right.
in Massachusetts. So just wanted to get that out of the way because I'm not sure everyone always understands what the Governor's Council is. So if you could help explain, what does the Governor's Council do?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to speak to the community of Foxborough. Governor's Council in District 2 holds about 37 towns, and I cannot tell you how many people who don't even know what Governor's Council is all about. So Governor's Council, they nominate judges, they nominate parole board members, clerk magistrates, and other positions, and notaries and justice of the peace. So, but essentially what they are very known for is nominating judges to sit in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts trial court.
Excellent, okay. So that covers more, I think ultimately when I first learned of Governor's Council, first thing I thought of was like, oh, it's the judges, right? Mm-hmm. But you touched upon several other positions that they also recommend for roles.
Right.
So can you, well, I'll get to why you're running in a second, but I think this will kind of go hand in hand. Can you discuss more about those other roles? So you've got the judges and then how they all kind of interact with each other.
So the clerk magistrate is one role that they appoint people to. There's pardons and commutations. We have parole board members who are nominated, and their job is to have parolees come in front of them. And they ask series of questions as to why they should be released early. And commutations is cutting down the sentences. So it is really important that people are aware of these situations because people get impacted all the time in the legal and criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm. So why specifically are you running for Governor's Council?
Well, what I can tell you is that I have more than 10 years of experience working in the trial court. I work with judges, clerk magistrates. I work with different departments, assistant DAs, police officers. But my role currently as a profession is an associate probation officer. So if a judge provides a defendant, if they put them on probation, I would be the one supervising them to make sure that they can get back safely into the communities, but also fulfilling the conditions that the judges have provide, whether it's getting into mental health treatment or substance abuse program, making sure that they're taking anger management. I would supervise them in the community. So I've worked for the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office as a victim witness advocate, and I'm currently a legal advocate for a domestic violence shelter, where I help women and children that has been impacted by crime, and men as well. So I've worked with judges every single day, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So I work with them, I have a personal relationship with them, and we make the courtroom go round, and it's important that you have someone like myself that is running for Governor's Council to be in a position where not only do I work with judges every day, but I understand what the constituents that get involved into the court system go through. And that's why I'm running.
Excellent. Okay. You mentioned you're an advocate for domestic violence, those who suffer from domestic violence. What specific role do you play in that? And would you just taking yourself out of this particular running for office right now, what kind of advice you would give women in that situation, if you could give any, and how your role and how the Governor's Council role could also affect their lives?
Okay, so domestic violence, it comes in various shapes and sizes. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate anyone. It could be financial, it could be mental, and it could be emotional, and definitely physical. So what I do is I help victims navigate the complexities of the criminal justice system, providing them resources, homeless shelters, providing them with programs that they can get in to start over. Because majority of women that deal with domestic violence that I've helped in shelters are women who don't work, and they rely on their partner to provide, and sometimes their partner holds that against them. Even if they're working, they will hold on to their pay and kind of control them to the point where they can't do what they want to do. So I help women and children, mothers that have children, and as well as men that have partners who abuse them. I help them navigate the criminal justice system. I speak another language. I interpret for victims that cannot speak English. I speak Haitian Creole. So I help them navigate the criminal justice system to make sure that they're not being left behind. But they also know that they have rights. Victims have rights, and they know organizations that will assist them with issues that they're having when dealing with domestic violence.
Thank you. Thank you for expounding on that, because I think that that's something unique I've just kind of encountered in your background that's a little more unique from, say, I don't know, like a lifetime attorney or something like that.
Right.
So not to besmirch anyone who's chose to give their life to being an attorney or judge or anything already. I just think it's an interesting interesting aspect. So would you say that your current experience, right, probation officer, like you kind of touch upon a lot of the points that the Governor's Council might be looking into? Do you feel that makes you uniquely qualified?
I think it makes me highly qualified because I bring different diverse backgrounds into the council. Not only do I work with domestic violence, I work with seniors that have been exploited by power of attorney, families or loved ones that have been taken advantage. And as a victim witness advocate while working with the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, my job is to walk them through the legal process to make sure that they are made whole from whatever that was taken from them. I've worked in mental health court, I've worked in drug court, I've worked in, I've referred veterans to veterans court. So I've had different experience working in different courtrooms that helps me understand not only the way the judges think, but the way that victims or defendants' experience are going through in the courtroom. So I have the experience not only knowing what people go through, but also helping them navigate the system, how to find a public defender, where there's court clinics, where they can get free attorneys. Some people don't know how to get an attorney. One of my jobs as a probation officer is when a defendant comes in, I have to complete an indigency form. In that form, I have to go through that form with them to make sure that they qualify for an attorney so that their rights won't be impacted. And if they are not qualified, then I have to tell them, okay, you would need to get your own private attorney due to the amount of money that you make.
I see, okay.
So these are the things I think I bring to the table, and that is different. And my experience working with judges, knowing the good ones and seeing the bad ones. But we want to make sure that the council reflects diversity. We want to make sure that judges understand the walk of life that people are dealing with. You can't incarcerate someone who has a disease such as substance abuse. We need treatment programs to help them become contributing members to society. So these are the things that I bring, and I hope as the next Governor's Council for the town of Foxborough, that I can help these constituents get the resources and nominating the best judges that will help them in their community.
So would you say that, given this kind of, not, hard and fast criteria, but certainly you have some things that you're looking for in the judges who would be put forth. Who would you describe as an ideal? I mean, this may touch upon everything you already said, but who would you find as an ideal judge, if there is such a thing, that would come forth?
To be honest with you, there's no such thing as an ideal judge. However, I would nominate a judge that is fair, that is not going to violate anyone's rights, who understand what domestic violence is, who understand and have experience working with organizations with drug treatment programs, and who is working within the community with different organizations that people actually deal with when it comes to coming to court as a victim or coming to court as a defendant. It's important that judges understand the real issues that are happening in our community, and to make sure that that representation is set forth in that courtroom when people are going in for help.
Do you feel, given your qualifications, if the current, one thing I want to bring up is that the previous District 2 Governor's Council vacated the role, was it 3 years ago now? 2 years ago?
So the role has been vacant for about a year and a half.
About a year and a half. It just feels like 2 years, because time goes by like that.
Right.
So do you feel like there's been, in addition, it's been a loss, I think, for our community? Do you feel like there's anything that has been missed, or that we missed out on with the current Governor's Council, that anything that anyone who may have passed without the input of District 2 you can think of?
What I would say is, so the former Governor's Council, which is Bob Juvenville, I usually interact with him in my courtroom out of Stoughton District Court. So his clients would become my probationers. And I believe that his alignment and mine are close when it comes to making sure that individuals who are on probation are getting the adequate treatment that they need, especially substance abuse. I'm not sure if the District 2 has missed anything, but I've seen them in the courtrooms advocating for individuals to get treatment program instead of incarceration. So I think that's where we align, making sure that the individuals that we are serving, not only in the courtroom, but in our community, are getting resources and access to become better contributing members in our society.
Back to judges and lawyers and all that stuff. So you mentioned that you work with multiple judges across your career. Some good, some not so great. Let's put it that way. No need to name names. But you mentioned already some of the best qualities that you were looking for in a judge, but let's say they don't even have those experiences. Is it just a matter of them being open to understanding everything? Or do you feel like it's an insider's game, or like a certain exclusive club? I don't know how to, I'm not putting this very well. An exclusive club for judges and attorneys and stuff.
I understand exactly
I might
what
have to
you
edit
mean. I understand exactly what you mean. I don't know if there is a players club, but what we do want to make sure as Governor's Council, counselors, that we are not coerced in just nominating a judge for knowing someone or being popular. What we want to make sure is that the judge that is coming in, the person who is seeking judgeship that comes before us, understand what it means to be a judge and understand the concerns. Now, do we know all of them and their background? No, but what the importance is vetting them. The vetting process is important to make sure that the nominee understands that it's a people's court and it shouldn't be a popularity club. And for me, I want to make sure that we have qualified judges that come in before the criminal justice system, and make sure that they're doing their part, making sure that they're ethical, making sure that they're respecting people's rights, and making sure that they understand the average person's problem. Sometimes people come into the criminal justice system for the first time and they don't know how to navigate the system. And instead of just pushing the person away and getting the next case, judges have discretion. They can ask the attorney of the day, which is a public offender, to just consult with this individual that's seeking help to see where they can guide them to get the help that they need. So it's very important that we narrow that down, but to make sure that the council represents the community, we need to shy away from anything that would hinder us making sure that the criminal justice system is fair.
Okay, so less cronyism, more open
Exactly.
openness.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not implying at all. I hope that I think
No.
that is the case now.
And that is a valid
I'm just
question.
kind of trying to come up with questions.
That is a valid question. And if you're asking it,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 10 other people are thinking about the same thing.
I think kind of we always have that chip on our shoulders as constituents that they never think of the little guy, or they never think
Right.
of us, or anything like that. So that's important. That's good. That's good to hear.
And I believe I bring that to the table because I work with a lot of people from all walks of life. I understand what it means to be falsely imprisoned. If someone finds themselves like my cousin, who was falsely imprisoned for 27 years for a crime he didn't commit and was exonerated in the city of Boston in 2021, I want to make sure that no other families, regardless of the situation, is ever dealt with something like that in the community or in the court system. So that's why I'm running to be the governor's counsel, to make sure that everyone is getting fair treatment regardless of their zip code, regardless of what they look like, regardless of their sexual orientation, just to make sure it's fair, because for many years it has not been. We're working on doing a good job, but we can't stop. There's more improvements that needs to be done.
Yeah. So that's I'm sorry to hear about your cousin.
It's okay.
I'm glad
Thank
he's
you.
finally, I mean, very slow path to justice, you know, as it sometimes can be. Wow. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. I can't imagine. But that's also puts you in just a different perspective, or interesting. Coming from this at an interesting perspective.
Yeah, because you think about personal experiences, and you also think about professional. You know, I have a master's degree from Northeastern, criminal justice and leadership. So every experience, personal education I have, I use it for the benefit of the community. And I think that makes me more relatable. And I believe that our community wants someone who's authentic. And I believe I bring that authenticity into the community, not only with my personal experience, but with my professional experience. And it has shown in many various ways.
Have you, has anyone of note endorsed your campaign? Any endorsements you want to talk about, promote?
Sure, absolutely. I have several endorsements, but the ones that, all of them are great, but the ones that help me understand that I'm doing a wonderful job and I deserve to be on the council would be, I got an endorsement by current governor's council, Tara Jacobs, which is in District 8, and I've gotten an endorsement by SEIU Local 229 NAGE. I also got a candidate distinction, being distinguished as a gun sense candidate. And given the climate that our country is right now and the gun violence is very rapid, it is important that we nominate judges with gun sense and that they are upholding the gun laws that are in Massachusetts. We currently have good ones, but we want to make sure that we tighten them up even more.
Great. One last thing. Given that this is around Foxborough, I guess I have to ask specifically in regards to, but Foxborough is one of the, you said 30 or so towns that are covered under the Governor's Council. Is there anything that you've heard on the wire specific to our area, Foxborough, Bristol, the Bristol district per se, that may need some further attention or anything?
I haven't heard anything negative, given the fact that not everyone is aware of what a governor council is and what it does. But what I can tell you is that Foxborough is a great town. My son goes to Foxborough Charter School, and I'm very pleased with the school system. And I have nothing but great reviews and raves about the town of Foxborough, which is why I want to serve them, because they have a wonderful town, and it deserves to have a great counselor to represent them as well.
Great, thank you. Thank you for saying nice things about Foxborough. It wasn't required, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I guess, and lastly, if you could have the last word, just tell everybody about if you have a website, social media hooks, and why they should vote for you in the primary on September 3rd.
Sure. So my social media handle is Twitter, Civil Tamisha. Instagram and Facebook is the same, Tamisha L. Civil for Change. And I'm running a grassroots campaign if anyone would like to donate to keep the momentum going and to make sure that I get to the primaries and win. They can visit www.tamishacivil.com. And I bring a diverse experience to the council, working with judges every day, police officers, clerk magistrates, assistant district attorneys. I've worked in mental health court, drug court, juvenile court, and referred veterans, who has done a lot for our country, to a veteran court to make sure that they're having resources to get the help that they need, but also preserving their records. And we cannot forget our seniors. We need to make sure that our seniors are not being financially exploited by power of attorneys, families, friends, making sure that they're protected from everything that they've worked so hard for, that they're not being exploited in any way. So I bring not only my experience, but personal experience, but making sure that I represent the district in the most best way possible. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, Tamisha, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the discussion. This has been Around Foxborough. I'm Sophia Manos, and thank you, and see you next time.